Joining me now here on set, NBC News Homeland Security Correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, thank you so much for joining me. What is the next step here?
Yeah, I mean, look, the White House, as you know, has to review exactly which benefits they're going to cut off. But some of those could include infant assistance. This assistance that goes out to pregnant women and young babies. It includes healthy foods for women who are about to have babies and infant formula. That has always been something that's been protected, but they're looking at whether or not that can cut off. I understand, as I believe you understand as well, that they aren't trying to go after free and reduced lunch programs for undocumented children.
At least not yet.
At least not yet. You're right. They don't rule anything out yet. And then there are some states that do allow some welfare benefits to go, allow people in those states access to federal welfare dollars, especially if they're on a parole program. And as you know, over 800,000 people came in under those programs under Biden.
Do you think that this is having the desired deterrent effect at this point? I was just at the border just yesterday, and as you well know as well, that illegal border crossings are down significantly. Besides the tightening of asylum restrictions, essentially shutting down the asylum program, but also halting some of these programs in the interior, is it having the desired effect?
You know, I don't know exactly if that is the thing that we see on these messages from people telling their family members to come, or people communicating with smugglers, the messages that go out. It seems more likely, like what you're seeing, that people are not being able to cross the border in the immediate effect. So it begs the question, is it necessary to cut off some of these benefits, to go through this amount of pain for, it could be young children, so that message somehow trickles down to the person who's thinking about leaving Venezuela? It's not clear that that's the direct deterrent effect that they wanted to have, but certainly it does serve to try to show the base that none of their federal tax dollars will go toward these things, although we should point out that emergency rooms still need to take care of anyone who walks through the door. So if someone's not being able to get life-saving nutrition, those people could end up in your emergency room.
These measures are expected to get an avalanche of legal challenges, are they not?
Yeah, of course, as we've seen for legal challenges across a lot of these executive orders. And some states could say that they're burdened by not being able to give out that medicine because or nutrition or whatever those assistance programs might be, because then they have to deal with the after effects. And you could also argue that if this money was already allocated by Congress, that Trump isn't in his position to be able to cut off those funds.
I spoke with a White House official today, and also we had Stephen Miller at the White House briefing touting that they view immigration as perhaps the administration's biggest success of its first month. What have you been hearing that the administration is considering? What other measures are they considering that they haven't implemented yet?
I understand there's a stack of executive orders that, whether that's metaphorical or not, but that Trump can continue to drip out, to continue to make news on immigration. I think at the border, sure, they can call that a success, although, of course, it's challenged because they've completely shut down the asylum process at the border. As far as arrests and deportations, though, I don't know that they can call that a success yet, because as we've seen, those numbers are not high enough really to please the president yet. We know that's something he's been angry about. Yeah, and the question will be, a lot of questions for Congress as well. Will they fund that deportation effort? That still remains an open question. Yeah, and they need that. Julia Ainsley, our Homeland Security Correspondent, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.